Hello, this is Leah. I am just doing a recording of how I met my goal for my respiratory system goal, and that was to learn the stages of Ards. I was to take notes on my reading from class and add to it some sources that I felt like were helpful in learning about the different stages of Ards and how to differentiate them with patients that I see in the hospital. So I was to learn all this information and, like I said, apply it to patients in the hospital. So for that first stage, the exudative phase, it's a phase with a lot of mucus. This trouble breathing starts, and so a lot of patients that I have found in this stage are mechanically ventilated. A lot of secretions on deep suctioning, and if they're not intubated and requiring deep suctioning, they have to be NT suctioned while awake and non-sedated. But there is a lot of drainage at this stage, and their lung sounds are extremely coarse, and you can hear the exudate in the alveoli when you listen with a stethoscope. But most are mechanically ventilated, and if they're not, their ABG is pretty bad. So moving on to the proliferative phase, this is where things get better, and if they do get better at this point, the patient won't progress to that third stage. So what this stage is, type 2 cells are created more by the body, and then they differentiate into type 1 cells during this time. And the body's able to heal itself. And sometimes it can take like 6 to 12 months to where the body fully heals from this stage. But it is possible to end the patient's journey of Ards at this stage. A lot of times, if they are still requiring mechanical ventilation at this point, if it's been about 30 days, I've noticed these patients, now that I'm able to differentiate this with patients at the hospital with this goal, at this point or towards the end of this stage, we're starting to see trachs instead of vents because they've been on the vent too long, and you're just increasing your risk for more pulmonary issues. And then the third and final stage is going to be the fibrotic phase. Again, it's actually pretty rare to get to this stage. Patients either pass away, are taken off the ventilator and put on comfort care, or the issue resolves in that second phase. On this phase, patients normally have gone through more invasive things like nitric oxide is added to their mechanical ventilation gases, and then a lot of times they're trached, and then I was going to say this is the point where either ECMO has already been started and you're considering taking them off ECMO, or they're being put on ECMO and becoming a candidate for ECMO. This is a pretty far gone point, but it is where the lungs are creating fibrotic tissue. So this has extreme lasting effects of fibrosis. And it's really rare to see. I think I've tried to start working on this goal because I knew it involved patients in the hospital for like a month or two. And there was one that was in this stage, but even then it was kind of questionable. So that is how I met this goal. And it was a great goal because I got to apply it to what I knew at the hospital. And I helped those around me to kind of see the stages of Ards.